Up next on News 10, a closely watched tobacco case could strengthen the tobacco industry's hand in settlement talks with state governments.
And hundreds of young people being hailed as leaders tonight.
And coming up, a weather storm heads this way and scorching heat in the west. That much more, so stay with us.
And here's more of what's ahead on News 10. After long and bitter negotiations, American Airlines and its pilots come to terms. Nurses in Western Massachusetts decide whether to come to terms with their employers, and the trial of the sex offender who sparked Megan's Law gets underway. Join us for those stories and more, all seconds away.
It's 11 o'clock. News 10 starts now.
The tobacco industry defeats a family in court, but still has a big battle against 24 states.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Brennan.
And I'm Angela Hampton. As tobacco companies resume negotiations on a multi-state lawsuit, they win a smaller battle in a Florida courtroom.
But the battle was smaller, though the outcome very significant. A jury deciding R.J. Reynolds was not liable for the death of a smoker. And that's a big victory for the tobacco companies.
Throughout the Jacksonville, Florida trial, R.J. Reynolds argued Jean Connor knew what she was doing. She was a lifelong smoker who knew the risks, and the jury agreed.
Was there negligence on the part of the defendant, R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company, which was a legal cause of the death of the decedent, Jean Connor? No.
Connor died of lung cancer at 49. Her family sued for wrongful death.
But could we, under oath, get these people to tell the truth? No, they lied under oath. R.J. Reynolds lied under oath. Mr. Townsend lied under oath. And unfortunately, this jury, like millions of other people, did not hear the lie.
The jurors also ruled the company's cigarettes were not unreasonably dangerous or defective.
Jurors understand that the risks of the use of this product have been well known for decades, if not centuries.
The verdict came in as the tobacco industry was again negotiating with attorneys general from 24 states, suing over the cost of treating tobacco-related illnesses. USA Today says the cigarette makers will agree to stronger warning labels and a federal ban on most workplace smoking in exchange for partial immunity from civil lawsuits. Jean Connor's family thinks they're already immune.
They have been very effective for 40 years in blaming the smoker.
Did you think the judge?
And what's sad is that Americans continue to buy into that philosophy.
The tobacco talks are continuing in Dallas. Jean Connor's family says they will appeal, and Nightline will have more on the story in about a half an hour.
In Grapevine, Texas, nearly 3 years of bitter negotiations between American Airlines and its pilots union have ended with the pilots ratifying a 5-year contract. 69% of the pilots voted for the deal. American is the nation's largest domestic airline.
A Rotterdam man has been found guilty of second-degree murder for killing a man on an Albany street last April. An Albany County Court jury said 55-year-old Ira Hoke knew what he was doing when he pumped 9 bullets into 30-year-old Samuel Hutton. Hoke's attorney, E. Stuart Jones, said the jury did what he had expected, but he had hoped the jury would have reduced the charge to manslaughter.
Juries have great difficulty accepting the extreme emotional disturbance defense. Basically, we're asking them to walk in the shoes of the accused, to live the life that the accused lived at the time of the commission of the event. And I think it's very difficult for a jury to do that. It's what the law requires of them. I've yet to see it happen in a case in upstate New York.
Hoke will be sentenced June 16th. He's expected to receive 25 years to life. Opening statements today in the case of Jesse Timendequas, who's accused of murdering 7-year-old Megan Kanka. He's charged with murder, kidnapping, and sexual assault and could face the death penalty if convicted. This case led to laws passed around the country in Megan Kanka's name. Those laws requiring communities be notified when a sexual offender is living in the vicinity.
Testimony in another trial picks up tomorrow. Oklahoma City bombing suspect Timothy McVeigh's sister took the stand today. She lives near Buffalo. Jennifer McVeigh provided details of her brother's political views, including his belief that government agents in Waco, Texas, gassed and burned the people inside that compound. A standoff in Texas has ended, leaving one man from the Republic of Texas militia dead and police searching for his partner. The identity of the dead man has not been released. Authorities say he was shooting at tracking dogs and a search helicopter from which fire was returned. Police believe the second man is within a 2-mile radius.
An Albany man who rescued a woman from a mugging this past January was honored for his efforts tonight. John Sim scared away 4 men as they attempted to mug Margaret Davidson walk down West Street. Tonight's ceremony at the VFW post on Washington Avenue, Sims said he was glad he was able to help.
Yeah, it's worth it. I mean, it could save a life or prevent something. That's definitely worth it.
I thank John very much for everything he did for me. And but I know he would do it for anyone. And if we had more people like John, maybe our streets would be a little bit better and safer.
3 of the suspects have been arrested. Police still searching for the 4th.
In Clifton Park tonight, a ceremony paying tribute to hundreds of young people. As Dan Levy reports to you, it was also a glimpse into the future, with students leading the way.
There was an Olympic-sized fanfare, not to mention a good reason for it, inside the shoulder room only Shenendehowa Gymnasium. These 350 youngsters, representing more than 60 schools throughout the region, were all honored as winners of a 1997 Physical Education Student Leadership Award.
They're truly leaders in the area of physical education because they're willing to not just be stars themselves, but to reach out and help other kids in their class.
Well, we hope that they continue with the qualities that they have right now and continue to take them on into even outside of physical education, into the areas of academics and whatever they choose to do in life.
Part of the evening's events included a Taekwondo demonstration designed to illustrate a tie-in between the martial arts discipline and the similar character traits of the honorees: respect, responsibility, and self-control.
I think I was singled out because I was a good leader to my other students. I'm very honored to have this award, and I think that I can do a lot to help other people become a leader too. I think I've done pretty good in individual activities, and I think I was a pretty good leader, but I think I could still develop more.
Even though this ceremony comes at the end of the school year, it is in essence only the beginning of a lifelong pursuit for these young people, a pursuit that will undoubtedly lead to them becoming future leaders of tomorrow.
We see them grow and take the attributes that we've recognized in them this early and carry them on into their lives and become very capable, contributing members of our community, and that's what we're excited about.
Do you see yourself as a leader of tomorrow?
I hope so. I don't really know.
Even with such high expectations from the adults, it seems the thought of growing up is still filled with uncertainty. Reporting to you from Clifton Park, Dan Levy, News 10.
And of the 350 winners tonight, only a handful were repeat recipients, which is a good indication of just how tough it is to be selected for this very prestigious award.
What's that old saying? You'd rather be a leader than a follower, right?
Very true, and we've got a lot of them there.
A lot of them there. Let's take a minute now. Check on tomorrow's weather.
Doesn't look as sunny as it was today. Chief Meteorologist Steve Caporizzo has our first look at the forecast. Steve?
All right, Angela and Jim, it does not look as nice as today's weather. Today was almost picture perfect, temperatures in the 60s. Now, tomorrow I don't think it's going to be a complete washout, but a lot of rain showers through at least early afternoon. Tomorrow at a glance, first thing in the morning, showers and mild. It'll probably be rather windy and about 49 degrees. And by noontime, the showers will continue to threaten, but probably not quite as numerous. And there could be a rumble of thunder as well, about 55. And late in the day now, there's a slight chance that skies could brighten up. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and temperatures in the upper 50s to near 60. We will have much more in the forecast. It may not be quite so nice for much of this week, and tell you about a heat wave developing out west in about 10 minutes. Back to you.
Okay, Stephen, stay right where you are. We've got much more for you on News 10.
If you're trying to quit smoking with a nicotine patch, you could be hurting your children.
I think it's extremely important for her that I quit so that she has a mommy around for a longer time.
Plus, some very popular Christmas gifts are now ending up in the pound.
And they set down the Suns, but could George Karl's Sonics draw first blood on the Rockets? Find out later in sports.
Live, Jim Brennan, Angela Hampton, Chief Meteorologist Steve Caporizzo, Sports Director Dan Murphy. News 10 at 11 will continue.
We report to you.
News 10 is brought to you by your local Chevrolet dealer.
A woman is dead tonight. Her 2 young sons in serious condition after they were hit by a fire truck that was responding to a call. It happened in Seat Pleasant, Maryland. As the fire truck took a corner, it rammed into the woman's BMW. The firefighters were not hurt. They were responding to a call that turned out to be phony. Another tragic accident has left a Pittsfield woman dead. Police say a GMC Blazer struck 34-year-old Norma Farran as she was crossing Cheshire Road near the Allendale Shopping Center. Police say she was not in the crosswalk at the time of the accident.
There were a few town board votes tonight in Berkshire County in western Massachusetts. In the town of Adams, George Haddad won a seat for selectman, as well as Edward McDonald winning a selectman's seat as well. In the town of Cheshire, Daniel DeLaurie won the board seat. And we want to remind you that we will have the school vote results taking place in New York tomorrow night. Nurses in Pittsfield will not go on strike in coming weeks. Tonight, nurses from Berkshire Medical Center and Hillcrest Hospital in Pittsfield voted on whether to strike after contract talks stalled. But despite their fears that they'll be replaced with unlicensed workers to cut costs, they did not have enough votes to go on strike.
A warning for parents using nicotine patches to help quit smoking. A new study says the patches pose a potential health risk to children. News 10 Health Team reporter Sue Nigra looks at the good and the bad of nicotine patches.
Hey, sweetheart. Mama. Do you have a book? Mama.
Allison Thurkield wants to quit smoking, not only for herself, but for her daughter, Noelle.
I think it's extremely important for her that I quit, so that she has a mommy around for a longer time and so that she has less risk of becoming a smoker when she grows up.
To help break her habit, uses nicotine patches, which she can now buy over the counter. But according to a study in the Journal of the American Academy of Pediatrics, transdermal nicotine patches pose a potentially toxic threat to young children who may try to play with them or even chew them.
What we're afraid of is that parents don't see the transdermal nicotine patch as a drug, that even a used patch has as much as 6 to 8 cigarettes worth of nicotine in it.
Dr. Wolf says even that amount is enough to cause acute nicotine poisoning. Symptoms include dizziness, vomiting, and diarrhea, and often require a trip to the emergency room.
Are there any squirrels outside?
This mom makes sure her 17-month-old daughter stays far away from nicotine patches. She throws used ones away in a wastebasket, safely hidden on top of the bathroom sink. And new patches are locked away in a medicine cabinet. The extra protective steps are, believe it or not, thanks to the family dog.
I have a Jack Russell Terrier who just adored nicotine gum. And, we had several incidents of her getting a hold of a piece or two.
Doctors say nicotine can be just as toxic to pets as it is to children, and they hope this safety warning will not scare parents away from something that can help them improve their health and the health of their children. For the News 10 Health Team, I'm Sue Nigra reporting to you.
And there's another new gadget on the way to help you kick the habit. The FDA today okayed a nicotine inhaler that'll be available by prescription only. It allows smokers to get nicotine through a plastic tube, and it should be available later in the year.
Some very popular Christmas gifts are now resurfacing in the pound. The movie 101 Dalmatians last year unleashed a huge demand for the spotted pups, and now Dalmatian Rescue Inc. reports that shelters nationwide report their Dalmatian population has increased by 300%. New York State Electric and Gas Corporation is now offering customers something special. They can send in their meter readings via the internet. As part of NYSEG's worldwide website, customers will get immediate confirmation the company has received their readings.
Coming back with a vengeance, the Dow Industrial Average hit a new record high today. The blue chips soaring more than 140 points, closing above 7,200 for the first time ever. The Dow had last closed with a record back on March 11th when it hit 7,085. NASDAQ rose 34 points today, and General Electric went up another 3 points. We're spending a lot of time on the market because the number of people who are investing in the market these days is growing. Robert Krulwich explains.
5 years ago, when the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down right here, the typical investor in America, not all of them, just the typical one, was older and richer and male. But in just 4 years, there has been a dramatic shift. And this investor is no longer typical now that the Dow has moved so high. In 1992, if you looked at heads of households under 35, young households, 28% of them owned stocks. 4 years later, 38%. That's a huge increase. Richer people, earning over $100,000 a year, traditionally they own stocks, now more than ever. But let's take a look at the folks who earn $10,000 to $25,000 bucks. That's not a lot of money, but But still, they too jumped into the stock market. Now a quarter of them own stocks. And those earning $25,000 to $50,000 in 4 years, an 8% increase, so almost half of them own stocks. And there are so many new female stockholders, one stock exchange says 47% of all investors are now women, almost half. So not only are there more stockholders among almost every group of Americans, but suddenly, and in 4 years, they are less rich, less male, less old, less like him. Robert Krulwich, ABC News.
I'll bet you didn't know that. We'll be right back.
I'm Cokie Roberts. Coming up on Nightline, R.J. Reynolds is found not liable for the death of a lifelong smoker. What's it mean for a tobacco settlement? Tonight.
Coming up, Chief Meteorologist Steve Caporizzo with your exclusive Doppler weather forecast.
Hope you enjoyed today, because the rain is moving in, unfortunately.
Knock, knock, and it's almost here. It's probably about 2 or 3 hours away from the Capital District, so if you travel west, you could be running into that rain. And it's not going to be an all-day rain tomorrow, but enough to pack along the old umbrella.
Enough, exactly.
As you head out to work. Let's take you out west, because I want to show you the first legitimate hot spell of weather in the Southwest. We know they get hot out there all the time, but don't forget, it's only May 5th. And look at these temperatures today. Phoenix, 101. Gila Bend, Arizona, 102. Needles, California, 100. And Blythe, California, one of the hottest temperatures we could find, at 105 this afternoon. Of course, out in the Southwest, it's a dry heat. And from what they tell us, it's a little bit more tolerable to take compared to the humidity we get around here. Let's check on the Albany County Airport. Tonight, mostly cloudy. Still some breaks here and there in the area, 58. Humidity, 36%. The barometer's dropping. The winds are picking up from the south, gusting down to 21 miles per hour. The high temperature today, a little bit below the normal high of 66. It hit 63. The low at 31. The record high 91 in 1944. And you can see we just missed the record low temperature by 2 notches. The record low 29 dates back to 1974. And there's the sunrise and sunset for tomorrow. All right, let's show you the old satellite loop tonight. You can see these clouds marching from west to east. Again, the leading edge, fairly thin clouds. They tend to get thicker off to the west. Let's switch over to News 10 Doppler radar from the northeast point of view. And you'll notice that earlier this evening, showers were west of Buffalo, but watch how fast they're moving eastward. Yellows and oranges indicate some heavier downpours. There's been some thunderstorms in parts of Ohio. And again, that rain just to the west. This stuff's not reaching the ground, but it is reaching the ground from Utica to Syracuse to Rochester. So in the next 2 or 3 hours, it should be moving in. 11 o'clock temperatures tonight, variable to say the least, 50s to lower 60s in much of the state. But notice Glens Falls, where skies temporarily cleared out and no wind. The temperature dropped to 45, 57 at Burlington, and 56 to head down towards New York City. News 10 weather watchers, Milt McGrath over there in Schoharie, 52. Bob Newman in Root in Montgomery County, 53. Speculator, it's 48 degrees. Manchester Center in the mid-40s tonight. Adams, 51. Sheffield's temperature at 58. Not a big storm, but the problem with this, like we've seen in recent storms, it's going to move to the coast and probably sit over down East Maine for about 24 hours, so it's going to slow down. And there is some chilly air, some pretty cold air, which will dip down behind it. It will be modified here, but you'll notice a chill and some gusty winds come about Wednesday morning, kind of like what we had during Sunday morning. The cold front tomorrow moving through most of our showers and maybe a rumble of thunder morning into the early afternoon. Some drier air is going to try to work in late tomorrow. There could be a few breaks in the clouds, especially west of the Hudson Valley. And then on Wednesday, cold, unstable air behind that big storm up over eastern Maine. And there could be some sprinkles or a shower, but also a little bit of sunshine, a little very variable day. And don't be surprised if some of the mountains, especially up in the Adirondacks, if you live up there, have a little bit of snow. Not a lot, just a little bit. Forecast looks like this for tonight. Clouds thicken up, showers move in over the next few hours, 45 to 50, breezy from the south. Showers, chance of a rumble of thunder, ending in most places early afternoon, 55 to 60. For tonight, partly cloudy, chance of flurries in the mountains, 33 to 38. And on Wednesday, clouds, some sun, windy, changeable weather, maybe a shower here, flurries or a little wet snow in the mountains, 50 to 55. Vermont and the Berkshires, showers developing about 4 or 5 in the morning, 43 to 48. And for tomorrow, showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, 55. Here's your 5-day forecast. On Thursday, mostly dry. It may cloud up later in the afternoon, 62. Some rain Thursday night, lasting into part of Friday, 61. And chance of a few sprinkles or 2 on Saturday and 58 degrees. It's not a lot of rain, but enough to be an inconvenience.
Yeah. Enough to keep it from being a sunny day.
That's right.
All right, Steve, thanks. Just ahead in sports, Murph will have plenty of reaction from today's University at Albany decision to go Division I.
And just when you thought he couldn't get any hotter, Tino's latest handiwork when we return.
Next, News 10 Sports with Dan Murphy.
Well, George Karl lived to coach another day.
Yeah, and
figuratively speaking.
Maybe a handful of days and not too many longer. George Karl still's got plenty of friends in the capital region from his days, of course, as head coach of the Albany Patroons. I think his days as head coach of the Seattle Sonics would have come to an end had his Sonics lost their opening round series to Phoenix, but they survived that series. Only now to have to take on the Rockets' Western Conference semis tonight, Game 1, and this wasn't much of a game. A well-rested Rocket team jumped on the Sonics right out of the gate. Akeem's going to have a big series in this one. Second quarter, Seattle would get back in it for a while. Houston would have a lead of only 9 at the half, but second half, the Rockets blow it open. Barkley with a nice drive. Charles with 19 points, 9 boards. Houston cruises to the 112-102 Game 1 win. Off the court after getting the cold shoulder from the Celtics, Larry Brown quite pleased to have found a new home with the Philadelphia 76ers.
We sent my wife a 60-pound thing of flowers, and she said, he's got my vote. And I knew I was in trouble then.
And we've been telling you it's going to happen for the last couple of months now. Look for Rick Pitino to join the Celtics by the end of the week. And on the college coaching front, as expected, Jim Herrick, the new head coach at the University of Rhode Island. Only one NHL playoff game tonight. Sabres looking to even their Eastern Conference semifinal series with the Flyers. Early first period. Off the rebound, Michael Renberg slaps one past Steve Shields. 1-0 Flyers. Then late in the period, Chris Therien with the wraparound. 2-0 Philly after one. Sabres one past Garth Snow, but one would not be enough. Flyers win 2-1. They take a 2-0 lead in the series. Game 3 Wednesday in Philly. Game 3 Rangers-Devils tomorrow night. Well, we've waited this long, so what's another 2 years? The University at Albany has finally made the commitment to elevate their athletic programs to Division I status. Following a 2-year compliance period, all 19 Dane sports teams will begin Division I play in the 1999-2000 season.
There'll be some people that continue to be against it, but the overwhelming vote by the University Senate and the student vote, I think, pretty much moved this in the right direction.
It feels great. I'm very much looking forward. We still have a couple years of preparation at D2, so hopefully by my senior year, I'll definitely be ready to roll as a D1 athlete.
You've already been kicking butt at the D1 level, so the transition, I wouldn't think, would be that dramatic for you.
Right. No, I think we'll make a smooth transition. Our teams are ready to move to that level. We're looking forward to it.
Albany officials have already begun searching for a conference. Meantime, the search for a new men's basketball coach nearly over. Expect an announcement by early next week. Well, on to baseball we go. Tonight's edition of the Tino Martinez Show. Are you kidding me? Another home run, 13th of the season. Yanks led at 1.51 over the Twins, but Ramiro Mendoza and company could not protect the lead. Terry Steinbeck's solo shot tied the game at 5. Then Matt Lawton with the go-ahead single. Yanks rally in the 9th, but fall short, losing 9-8. At Fenway, the Sox playing host to the Royals, and they had their problems with Kevin Apier. Struck out 7, allowed only 5 hits, went the distance. The big hit of the game, top of the 8th, Jay Bell off Chris Hammond. Royals blank the Sox 2-0. American League scoreboard. Anaheim wins at Baltimore. Rain out in Cleveland. Clemens now 5-0 with that Toronto victory, and Milwaukee leading Oakland in the 7th. In the NL, the Mets opening a road trip in the Mile High City. Todd Hundley thriving on the thin air. 3-run blast gives the Mets a 4-0 lead. Next at bat, Hundley with the gapper RBI double. He's got 5 RBIs so far in this one. The Mets behind Bobby Jones leading the Rockies 6-1 in the 8th. NL board, Atlanta wins at St. Louis. Florida and Houston also National League winners tonight. And in Colony tonight, the annual National Football Foundation and Hall of Fame dinner. 63 area high school and college football players honored. This is the 9th straight year for this occasion. Congratulations to everybody who took part and the award winners.
All right, Murph, thanks.
And stay with us because we've got your lottery numbers coming up next.
And then we'll be right back.
News 10 is brought to you by Amtrak. Nighttime, daytime, anytime. News 10's quick response team is ready all the time. Call our newsroom hotline, 462-WTEN. And cell calls are free calls. Bell Atlantic NYNEX customers press pound 10. Cellular One customers press star 10. The station that reports to you wants to hear from you.
Tomorrow on News 10 at 6 o'clock, we hope you can join us because we're going to show you an amazing program helping more than 100 children learn computer skills, get help doing their homework, and develop their creativity. It's for kids in a housing project who might not otherwise get some of these opportunities. And the organizers of it have been doing this a long time. They are really seeing fantastic results. So that's in our Children First report tomorrow on News 10 at 6 o'clock. Hope you can join us.
And we thank you for joining us here tonight. Invite you to stay tuned. Nightline comes your way next. Don't forget Robin Schwartz and John Groley with News 10 in the morning at 6 a.m.
Glad you could join us. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.
Good night.
If you have a suggestion or comment on how we can better report to you, call News 10 at 1-800-888-WTEN or send email to news@news10.com.